Hello, hello, everybody. Hope everybody is having a good Thursday. Um, some bad news. Flipping Steve has not joined the stream yet, so I'm just kind of winging it because, to be perfectly honest with you, I had reached out to him earlier today and was like, "Hey, do you want to jump on at 5 Eastern?" Thinking that he might not be able to join, but he said that he would be able to do it. I think he might be having some technical difficulties getting on. I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of start it off, say hello, kind of do the pleasantries, say hi to everybody, and then hopefully he joins up here soon. But Flippin' Steve is flipping out somewhere. I don't know where you are, Flippin' Steve. You're killing me right now, buddy. All right. I'm just going to talk for a few minutes, and then I'm going to assume that he's going to join up here any second. Payback is going to be bad, Steve. When we have to do this again, and you have me on yours, I'm going to show up 5 minutes late just for you. Let's say hello to David Hunter. How's it going, buddy? Well, hopefully he comes, David. Hopefully. We'll see what happens. Zion Prism base is now 23,000 and silvers are over 2,800. Is that on the pop report? The Prism base 10s, 23,000? Is that what you're saying there, David? Silvers are over 2,800 on the pop report, I'm assuming, for a 10 at PSA. Okay. Man, 23,000 Zion Prism base PSA 10. I'm assuming is that total or is that just PSA 10? That's a wild number. Hey, Grumpy Card Guy, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Let me see if I can. Nope, still nothing from Steve. Still nothing. You know what? I'm going to keep it going. This just got turned into a Q&A session, so feel free to ask away. Hey, an announcement that I guess I can make. I am switching jobs, and so next week I'm actually off in between jobs, and so that's why you're probably going to see a lot more content than usual coming out. It's just because I've got free time, guys. I've got a little bit more free time than I normally do, and so it just means that there's going to be a lot more of me probably on your YouTube. Hopefully you're okay with that. I'm going to try to kind of go over some different topics and try to keep it fresh. I know, David. Steve's not here yet, if you can believe that. So I went ahead and just went live. I'm assuming he's having some technical difficulties because he's normally never late. So I don't know. I was texting with him earlier today, so I hope he's all right. But yeah, hopefully I can bring him in. Hopefully I can bring him in here soon. We'll see. Thanks, David. I appreciate that. Yeah, hopefully Steve makes it more than every day. Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try between live streams and different topics, because I am talking about cards, or I'm talking about action figures, or I'm talking about graded video games. So within collectibles, there's a lot of different topics I can cover. So I will be putting out a lot of videos. So for those that are subscribers, just hang with me, stick with me through it. If it's a little bit more content than you would like. It won't be forever. I won't be putting out 3 videos a day forever. I can't imagine. I'd love to. No, I think, Jason, I think that he's on. I'm pretty sure he's on my time zone. He's on the East Coast with me. So I think it's got to be technical difficulties, because he's always on. So, this is the first time, and I've been on live with him a few different times. So I'm assuming that he's just having some technical difficulties, but Payback, I'm going to get him back. I am certainly going to get him back for this one. How do you like using Card Ladder? I do like using it. Whether you're using Card Ladder or another data tool, I think that it's helpful. Is it the end all be all to everything? No, it's not. It's not giving you every single sale necessarily, but it is giving you some sort of data point, some point of reference to go with. So I think that's a help. Certainly think it's a help over not using something. But, I also spend a lot of time just looking at eBay sold listings myself too. So, whether you use a data tool or don't use a data tool, I don't think it's mandatory by any stretch, but yeah, it's kind of a nice little thing to have. All right. Tony, what's up, man? 1988 Max Racing set is worth picking up. Richard Petty rookie card, Rusty Wallace rookie card, lots of goats in the set. That is really interesting. Yeah. I know that, NASCAR is huge in the South. I don't know anything about kind of, the cards. I mean, I did a video on one of the upcoming sets that's coming out. I believe that there's a Prism set that comes out each year. And I'm sure that, I mean, NASCAR memorabilia is huge in popularity. I don't know about cards in general, NASCAR cards, but I know that, all the other stuff is very, very collectible, very, very collectible. Yeah. Tony, where is Steve? Don't you know? Even, and by the way, E-Man is Tony, for those that are wondering who I'm talking to. Guys, we don't have any sports left. Baseball is over. We have football, which is, I don't know what it is about football this year. I can't get into it. I'm a diehard New Orleans Saints fan. Absolutely diehard. I don't miss a game at all. I missed Sunday's game against the Panthers only because I was driving back from Florida. But I don't know. Yeah, Steve's out. Exactly. Steve's out flipping. That's what Steve is doing. Chris, what's going on, man? Good to see you. I should have Chris join the live. Yeah, I'm with you, Steven. Yeah, it's a good time to buy basketball. I think that, I don't, has anyone been keeping track of football prices, too? Because I have to assume, I know once the season started and there were the injuries in the first couple of weeks, people were kind of blah on football, it seemed like. I was buying vintage football, but the modern stuff and the super modern stuff, I don't know if that stuff is it still expensive? I think the pricing has come down quite a bit. Paul, why did Michael Thomas budge that dude? I'm beyond frustrated with Michael Thomas, beyond frustrated. Now he has a hamstring injury now, and he hasn't even practiced in 3 weeks. So how does that work? I don't know, but he needs to get back on the field. We have to play the Bears this weekend, which the Bears, it's not like the Bears are a dominant team, but they're not a bad team. And, we could easily lose to them. I'm pretty sure we're playing them in Chicago, which we're not exactly the greatest outdoor football team. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go. But yeah, I mean, there's football, and like I said, I don't know if it's because there's not fans in the stands, but just watching the games, kind of like, the Saints aren't very good either. They're kind of, they're 4-2, but they're not playing like they're very good. They're just kind of eking out games and just barely squeaking by. So I'm not really feeling it. Yeah, no, I hear you on the new. Are the new singles expensive? I know the new product is, but are the new singles expensive as well? I just haven't been buying a lot of modern football at all lately. I got this is a cool card. I wish I had it with me in my mail day, and I'll show it on another video. But I got a Jamal Murray rookie card and a Jamal Murray Optic Hollow rookie PSA 9. I was happy to get that one. Hey Ziggy, how's it going? Alec, how are you? Yeah, unfortunately, guys, Flipping Steve is out flipping and has not joined the live stream yet. So I'm just winging it. And he was literally texting, I don't know, 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes ago. I hope he's all right. I have literally no idea where he is, but he usually, he's never missed before. So I don't know what's happening. I hope he's all right. Yeah. Yeah. So for Jamal Murray, I've been looking at kind of his mosaic rookie cards, and then I picked up that Optic Hollow and a PSA 9 right at about $200, which it wasn't an amazing deal because I think PSA 10s are right at about 600, maybe 650. So it's about a third of the price of the PSA 10. I actually thought about, just sucking it up and buying a PSA 10, but yeah, $600. So I decided to go with the 9. But yeah, Jamal Murray, and I've talked about, Jamal. He's one of my guys. I don't know. He just looked really, really good in the playoffs. And granted, that could have been a 1-year thing. There's a lot of talent in the West. So I don't know if he's going to be able to differentiate, over time. But I just liked what I saw there. So I wanted to get a couple of his. I want to add probably a few more of his rookies. That's the first one I bought. Actually, I have one of the insert rookies, like the Optic 2016 Optic. I can't think of the insert. I'm drawing a blank on it, but I've got like a raw of that. But I wanted to get a few graded rookies of Jamal Murray. Maybe you should call this the Han Solo segment. Just a thought. Yeah, maybe I'll do, maybe I'll just do the Q&A. I wish you know what I should have done? I should have prepared better just in case, but Steve has never missed. I've never had an instance where, Steve has missed. So I didn't even think about it to where I would, need to have some backup material. But yeah, here we are. Lesson learned. Always be prepared because flipping Steve could maybe let you down. It can happen. It can happen. I'm going to get him back. I'm going to get him back big time. Steve's out listening. You know what? He's probably sitting in his car. I know he got off work at like 3 or 3:30 or something like that. You're right. You're right. He's probably listening to a Mariah Carey, greatest hits album, just sobbing in the car and, just lost track of time. And here we are. David, really high on Ayton and Colin Sexton. Too much hype over this year's rookies, and those guys can take a jump. I know Ayton is he's an interesting prospect because, yeah, I mean, he's injured and, he was, I know he was suspended, I believe, at the beginning of the year for, PEDs or something like that, but he's a good player when he's in there playing. And can he kind of morph into, more of a star in the next 3, 4, 5 years? Ayton is an interesting prospect. The Suns in general are kind of an interesting team where it's like, the West is so deep, but they won 8 straight heading into the bubble, just barely missed the playoffs. So who knows? Maybe some of these teams break out. Maybe they just need one more piece or two. I'm not saying I'm high on the Suns, but I'm just saying you never know. Who are you talking about here, Chris? I picked up a bunch of his base rookies in minty fresh shape to send in. Chris, how do you? Now, is that off of eBay or is that in person, or where are you buying? Like when you say minty fresh, are you using the periscope to look at it? The periscope they use to look at the stars, to look at the cards and the surfaces and everything. How are you buying those off eBay or are you buying them in person? Yeah, Gem Mint 10, you already missed it. Steve is out flipping. He's out flipping. No, I literally texted with him not that long ago, so I'm seriously kind of worried about him. Let me see if I've got anything. Sending him a message right now. I'm wondering if he thought that it was maybe 6. I mean, we're on the same time zone, so I know it's not a time zone thing. Maybe he thought it was later. Let's see. Take a look at Kelden Johnson from the Spurs. His card prices will 10-20x this year. Hidden gem. Kelden Johnson. What do you guys think about Kelden Johnson? I honestly don't know enough about him. A lot of the newer prospect players. Does anyone else have any thoughts on Kelden Johnson? I know that I've heard a few other people talk about him. I know that his cards are not expensive, so that could be one of those diamond in the rough, type deals, like a lot of these players. Giannis in 2013. Not saying that Kelden Johnson's the next Giannis, but I'm just saying. Shea rookies, okay. Oh, Jamal Murray rookies off of eBay. Okay, I got you. Horrible pictures unless I have a hunch. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Jamal Murray, I don't know. He gives me that warm feeling. I just think there's something good coming for him. And the Nuggets in general are just I think that they're a rising team. Just buy the guys that were super hyped when the bubble restarted. Those players' cards dropped and they will just go right back up. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? I haven't really been following as much like, the Trae Youngs and, for the teams that were not in the bubble and never went, they weren't in those playoffs. I didn't really follow kind of where their pricing went. Did you guys buy up a lot of that stuff, or have you been sitting on the fence lately? What are your thoughts on it? Everyone laughs at Bol. If he bulks up a bit, he's going to be a star. Hey, Giannis in 2013 did not look like the Giannis of today. He added some muscle onto his frame. So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Bol is the next Giannis, but you never know with these guys. You never know. You're right. I mean, as they age up, grow into actual men, it can change. I hope Zion is bulking down. I hear you. I think a lot of people are hoping that. Honestly, I don't really care what Zion does as long as he protects his knees. I think that's the main thing, is just protect your knees and your ankles and stay healthy. I honestly, like, if I was him, I don't know what the league rules are, but I'd have like 4 knee braces on. I'd have like a bionic suit on, going out there just to keep everything, insulated really well. Ziggy asks, anyone prospecting the draft class and players teams? Yeah, what are the thoughts on the new draft class? And mainly, and I ask because outside of the few, the Wisemans and the LaMelos and those guys, who are, is there any kind of sleeper guys out there, prospects that you're excited, to jump on, or and maybe you don't want to say because they're a sleeper prospect, but I'm just curious to what you all think, because I haven't really looked hard at this rookie class. I'm probably just going to focus in on, on last year's class and Luka and Trey's class until this class kind of plays some basketball and we see what we've got. Ziggy says, I'm going to chase whoever the Bulls draft. Don't care who. The team is young and new coach, expect movement. That's interesting. Yeah, because that's more of a focus around a particular team. So Ziggy, you think the Bulls just have upside, in the sense that, there could be some excitement around whoever they pick in that top 5 or top 10, that top 10 pick, first round pick? I've been doing a lot of research on the Knicks front office and new coaches and know that past volatility, but looking hard at Kevin Knox to get some playing time and expanding on his sophomore year. All right. After last night, Grumpy Card Guy, I can't tell if you're being serious or not, but I think that you are being serious here. It sounds like a serious statement, but I don't really know. Grumpy Card Guy has a dry sense of humor, sometimes tough to read, but I think that he is seriously looking into the Knicks, which, there's only up from here for the Knicks. I mean, it's been so bad that, there's only up, but it's just, when is that going to happen? Is that going to be next year? Is that going to be 5 years from now where they can actually get their act together? What about long-term Shaq, Barkley, Hakeem, Kobe? For me, obviously, I like all of these players. The two that stick out to me, Barkley, Hakeem, are in that 86-87 Fleer set, which is obviously the iconic basketball set. I love Shaq, and I would buy boatloads of Shaq, but his rookie was in that junk wax era when I was a kid, 91, 92 timeframe. And the problem is you just have, a lot of overproduced cards. And so there's just not a lot of scarcity unless you are buying a more scarce version of Shaq. I would probably, if I was going to go hard on Shaq, just me, I would probably look into some of those inserts. Are there any like rare, like PMG type Shaq inserts that are out there? And I'm asking because I don't know. But if there was really rare inserts like that, could pick up steam over time, because I do agree Shaq is one of those all-time greats. Kobe, an all-time great. But again, I'm looking at, for Kobe, scarcity. Where's the scarcity with the cards? And I think those are, yeah. Chris is talking about Shaq Beam Team. Yeah, absolutely. But that card, my gosh, that card was what, $1,000, and it went up to $4,000. I don't know where it is now, but that thing absolutely skyrocketed, that Beam Team insert. And I'm sure, I doubt now there's any real under the radar Shaq inserts that are rare that no one has jumped on. I'm sure that they've scooped them up. But yeah, that Beam Team one is a good example. Still nothing from Steve, guys. I just checked. Still nothing from Steve. I'm actually genuinely worried about him because this never happens. So I'm really kind of concerned. I hope he gets back to me soon. All right. Rhino asks, anyone here know if there are fake PSA BGS slabs being sold on eBay? This is something that is, it's a big concern. I wouldn't say it's a gigantic concern. But it's something that I think about. It's something that I definitely think about. So I don't know. Does anyone else have concerns about that? The thing I guess I'm worried about is it's not a sophisticated label. It's not a sophisticated label to create to where someone that's really, really good at, at doing that sort of thing. I mean, if it's somebody that can counterfeit money, and make that look real, then I'm sure they can do a PSA label or a BGS label. So it is something of concern. I guess it's just, is there enough money in it for for them? Is there, is it going to stay, is the market going to stay hot like this to where, it brings kind of the wrong people in? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but yeah, you guys, let me know. What do you guys think? Do you think that there's a lot of fake stuff flying around, or do you think there's going to be some coming down the pike? I own 100 Shack refractors and Atomic. I invest in all old star refractors and rare parallels. I like that, Stephen. Yeah, no, that stuff has really been picking up steam. I mean, if you look at like all the Michael Jordan stuff, I mean, we use him as kind of the barometer, for 90s inserts. He's kind of the king of 90s inserts for basketball cards is Jordan. And I can't imagine, Shaq is right up there. Shaq is right up there in popularity. He's not as popular as Jordan, but he's an all-time great player. He's a big personality, always will be. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Apparently, there are fake labels in older slabs. Look for the hollow stickers on cards. You should also confirm the cert number of any card of the website of the grader. Yeah, I do that every time too. So I mean, I assume that's all good. I mean, if you're just running the numbers, through. I don't know if they can copy a number or I'm not really sure. But yeah, definitely that's good advice. If you're any slab that you're buying, if you're buying a PSA slab, for those that don't know, and I'm sure a lot of people in this audience probably know it, but you can go on the psacard.com website, I believe, and you can just there's an authenticate search bar, type in the number, and it will tell you which card is graded under that number in case there's some sort of switcheroo or something weird going on. That's helpful. I think it's a smart place to park investing in cards from that era. Yeah, 90s basketball is hot. I mean, and I think it always will be. There's a special place in people's hearts for 90s basketball. Can't argue that. I mean, between Jordan, Shaq, Kobe, and then all the other great players, all the other Hall of Famers that played in that decade. You're right. I mean, 90s is serious business. Back in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, there was a large dealer opening PSA slabs and switching cards. Yeah, I really hope that that's not a thing or it doesn't become a thing again. I really hope. If technology needs to make the hobby better, those are the types of things that I really hope, more than grading cards, using a robot to grade a card, making absolute certain that cards can't be, labels can't be created and faked and all that stuff. I think that would be security being a big issue. Use technology for security, for these cards and for the hobby. All right, Rhino. I asked because I messaged a seller asking why they blur hide the cert number, and he responded with because people make fake cases with those certain numbers. Okay. Is that where Flipping Steve is with Steve Elmore? Okay. Now we were saying, Steve, I don't know if he's still listening to Mariah Carey Greatest Hits like from the other night. But this is weird, man. It's odd for him to miss. Now, I mean, he had to work up until the live. So, oh, okay. Oh, he just messaged me. I thought it was 5:30. All right, guys. We've got contact. We've got contact. Hold on, I'm just messaging him. Sorry. Little break in the action. Sit tight. Okay. He's apologizing profusely. I'm not forgiving him. He is not forgiven. All right, so he should be on here in a second. He just got, he's so busy flipping. He just doesn't have time for this stuff. He does not have time for this. Unbelievable. What are my future aspirations in the hobby? That's a really good question, Alec. I'm not going to pretend like I kind of know exactly what the future is going to look like completely. I want to have this YouTube channel for as long as I possibly can because I really, really enjoy it. It's kind of my getaway and something that I really, really enjoy doing. Honestly, it's my hobby within the hobby. But as far as working within the hobby or, working at Panini or working at, Topps or anything, no, I don't have aspirations like that. I do have kind of aspirations to grow my channel and do those sorts of things because I love it. But as far as, working at a company, if that's what you're asking, I don't have any plans to do that yet. Certainly wouldn't rule it out at all. But if they came to me and said, if PSA said, hey, we want to hire a grader and we think you would be great, I don't know why they would, but I couldn't grade cards all day. I wouldn't even be very good at it. And you guys would probably, if you knew I was grading cards, you'd probably be like, no, I'm not sending a PSA. All right. Okay, so he should be joining up. Hey guys, if you have any other questions, I'm going to hit Steve up with, some questions as soon as he kind of joins in. And we didn't really plan. This was a really impromptu thing this morning. Like, hey, you want to go on? Yeah. I mean, so we don't really have any sort of a magical game plan here today. Sorry. And I know you're shocked because I always have, 10 different topics laid out, but throw in the comments, what is your favorite card? The favorite card that you own, whether it be PC or even if it's not a PC thing, even if it's a flip card that you're like, hey, I just bought this, but I'm going to flip it in 6 months. Which card is that for you? I would like to know. I'll just say my favorite card right this second. Now this changes, just depends. Just depends on the day for me. But my Pistol Pete rookie card, I believe it's 70 tops, 69 or 70 tops. I believe it's a PSA 6. That's my favorite card as it sits right now. But like I said, I've got a handful of cards that I go back and forth with. All right, Paul says my favorite card is my Shaq All Magic rookie PSA 10. That's nice. I don't know exactly what that card looks like. Is that okay? Well, it's a 92. It's a rookie card. Who made that? Who made that, Paul? Michelle the Collector, thanks for joining. 96, 97, Topps Finest Gold, MJ. Is it graded? Sean, 2004 Prime Cuts, Ruth Gehrig, dual jersey, numbered out of 3. Wow. That's incredible. I saw an article or something about Prime Cuts. I'm not a big baseball card collector, but is that that actual Babe Ruth jersey, Lou Gehrig jersey? Is that from a real jersey, or what is the story behind Prime Cuts? DJ Quick, my second year Kobe Topps Chrome Refractor. That's a nice card. I don't own one, but I've seen one. Oh, we got Grumpy Card Guy is a hockey guy. 66 Topps Bobby Orr. Fave is numbered out of 25. 2018 Classics Timeless Tributes. Tyreek Hill. Wow, that's an interesting card. And Tyreek's just lighting the world on fire these days. Favorite card that I recently sold was a Zion Galactic. Jeez, Alec. Wow. $2019 Patrick Mahomes Nike Swoosh Auto 1 of 1. Jeez, you guys have some monsters. That card is game. That's a game used Babe Ruth Lou Gehrig jersey card. Oh my gosh, that's insane. Lou Alcindor rookie card and EX. What is that? Is that like PSA 5 or 6, Sean? Or is it not? Or is it not graded? And you're saying that it's in kind of that excellent, near mint, excellent condition. Drake, who dat say I'm going to beat them Saints? How's it going, Drake? 2013 Upper Deck Hulk Hogan PMG. They got Hulk Hogan PMGs? BGS 9.5. Wow. That's cool. Favorite card I have is probably my Lamar Jackson certified RPA, numbered out of 10, or Russell Wilson RPA, Topps Finest Gold Refractor number. Oh man, those are beasts of cards, man. Those are beasts. You guys have some serious collections. All right, Brad, I hear you. I see you. All right, we'll see. We'll see. Actually, you know what? I can't figure out how, Michael Thomas can't get on the field. The defense can't play defense. It's in Chicago in the cold. I'm not super confident. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see, man. We will see. Steve still hasn't logged in. Unbelievable. He said that he thought it was 5:30, but we know what really happened. Mariah Carey happened. That's what it is. That's what it is. Oh, no, it's not a home field advantage, Brad. It's just the cold weather. It's not the home field advantage. I'm not worried about Bears fans in the stands. I'm worried about literally like just being able to run an offense in the cold weather. That's what I meant by that. Sorry. 13 1988 Topps Bo Jackson rookies at PSA 10, and that is one of my favorite. I agree with you. I have a PSA 8, which I bought for maybe $15 or $20 because there's just so many of them out there. But yeah, the Bo Jackson cards from that era are, they were mass produced, but man, they're awesome. They are awesome. Steve's making his next intro. You're right, Steve. You don't have to spend 45 minutes just making the intro. You can just get on with the video, man. I do love his intros. They're awesome. Yeah. If you were trying to find Mariah Carey cards, you're out of luck because Flippin' Steve bought all of those a long time ago. He owns all of those. So yeah, those are gone. Best thing I sold was a case of 87, 88 Fleer basketball. What? How much? If you don't mind me asking, Sean, when did you sell it? Was it in the last 12 months? And if you don't mind saying how much you sold it for, I'm very interested in knowing. If you don't want to share that, perfectly fine. But just curious, just based on what the 86 Fleer went for. And I know the 87 Fleer is not on the same level as 86, but a case of 87 Fleer had to have fetched some serious dough. Oh, look who decides to join. Well,
man.
Okay.
My bad. I thought it was 5:30, like for real.
Dude, this is like an improv show for the first 30 minutes.
Oh, sweet.
No, actually,
well, you're entertaining. I'm sure you took care of it.
You know what's great, actually, is surprisingly 40 people are on. I thought there was going to be like 3 or 4, and we've got 40 people. And thankfully, they knew I was struggling, and everyone got in the chat and was just talking it up. And so I've just been talking to people in the chat, and it worked out great. So,
well, what are we in the middle of? What am I interfering in?
I was kind of ripping on you about Mariah Carey. I was like, look, he's probably got into a Mariah Carey Greatest Hits album, and he's just in his car. And then we were talking about Mariah Carey cards, and I was like, forget it. Steve already bought all those. Those are no longer on the market.
I should buy a Mariah Carey card.
All right, guys. If you have questions for our friend Flippin' Steve, throw them in the chat for the Oracle here. But I'm going to go ahead and actually, well, Steve, do you want to talk about what you were like the cards that you were texting me earlier, or are those kind of like more preliminary? You're still trying to buy some of those, so you don't want to share?
Oh, no, I share anything. If somebody's willing to buy something and they beat me in an auction for it, they deserve it. So,
all right, so
I would rather tell my listeners earlier than later because I'm all about everybody getting in and trying to make some profits. But a lot of times when I talk about things like that, a lot of people don't have as much confidence in it as I do. Like the tennis, I talked tennis stuff so long ago, and I even got laughed at about it. And now there's some tennis cards that are over $1,000, $2,000, which is nuts, but yeah, it's true.
Yeah, no, I know. You were early on the tennis stuff, very early.
I mean, even that Tony Hawk card is seeing crazy. You know, in a PSA 8 is pushing $500 now on that Tony Hawk card.
Oof,
so
that's wild.
Yeah, and they were nothing, 6 months ago.
That is crazy. All right, so do you want to share kind of your latest? I would call it a zag. I mean, I would say it's a zag for sure because it's something that's definitely off the beaten path a little bit. Although, was it spurned on by kind of the new release, the Prism release?
It kind of was. It was kind of a combination of things. So it's WNBA Superstars for anybody who doesn't know, but it's going to be the old players, either retired or veteran players. And I know the big knock is that female sports don't tend to draw, from its ticket standpoint, a money standpoint, a hobby standpoint, just across the board. Female sports don't tend to draw like male sports do. However, I look at the price of Serena Williams cards and I'm like, okay, she sells for the same price as Roger Federer does. So I know that there's a market for female sports. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's everybody. In the NBA, people are buying and selling everybody. I mean, from someone who's never stepped foot on the court to, your best players to your vintage, for everything.
Yeah.
In the WNBA, I'm not saying, hey, go buy anybody who was good, but do some research. Look at your top 5 female basketball players of all time, the people that the league and the foundation of the league were built on, because these Prism cards have come out. And if you ask yourself what's been more popular in the past 3 years, WNBA or Panini, and you're going to say Panini. Panini's been more popular than the WNBA. Let's be real. It is what it is. But Panini sees a market in the WNBA, and they're a business. They wouldn't be printing cards of the WNBA if they didn't think they were going to make money off of it. I think the popularity of Panini, with them putting out a product, is going to drive the popularity of the league. It's actually going to make people want to say, okay, I'm buying these cards of these people. Why? Yeah. So now they're going to go and they're going to look and see some of these players. The main card out of the WNBA is a Sabrina. I don't know how to say her last name. It looks like Ionq or something, but apparently she's the big card. Now, her Prism rookie card debuted higher than Zion's. Okay, Zion's first Prism hit eBay at about $40. Now, the market is different since then.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more hype and such. But her raw Prisms, that product dropped yesterday, her raw Prisms completed sales are up to $100. Okay, I've never heard of her. I've never heard of her. But to me, that automatically tells me that people are spending money on a rookie card of a female basketball player who's new to the league because of hype, just like Zion. And it started with Zion. It started with Luka. It started with these new players in the NBA this year. And then it spilled back into the vintage. It spilled back into Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon. It spilled back into all these players that all these new investors were starting to discover. So I look at players like Lisa Leslie. I remember when she played on the U.S. national team back in the early 90s. And it was the U.S. national team from 94 to 96, those female players. They're the whole reason the WNBA started. There was nowhere for these ladies to go play basketball once they were done. And there was enough interest to see them to keep playing that they founded the WNBA. And they kind of split up this U.S. team, which was kind of the female dream team. And they all went to different franchises in the WNBA. Just a couple cities that started it small. But you had like Cheryl Swoops, just different players like that. Cynthia Cooper, who's like, if I had to compare some of these players to players of that era, I would say like Hakeem Olajuwon would have been your Lisa Leslie. Cynthia Cooper would have been your Michael Jordan. And then if players nowadays that are still playing, you look at Elena Del Donna, who I really like because she's from my state. She went to high school here, and she went to the university here in Delaware and won a championship. She's won 2 MVPs. I compare her to be, and she was a rookie in 2013. I would compare her to be like the Giannis of the female league. Like, she's dominant. Yeah. She wins MVPs, but she did finally win a title this year. So that's the one thing that she doesn't have, she has. And then you got like Dana Taurasi. Her rookie's from like 2004. She's the all-time WNBA scoring leader. She would be considered probably like a LeBron of the league right now, right around the same age, same rookie season. And she's been the dominant player, winning titles, breaking all the scoring records. So I'm just looking at 5 or 6 of these players. Because of the price point, it's impossible to ignore on some of them.
Yeah.
You can go back and buy 1997 pinnacle rookies of Lisa Leslie and some of these legendary female players for $5. You can find them graded for like $15. I bought a Cynthia Cooper, who's considered to be the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. I bought one graded today in a 9. It was a 1997 card. I bought for $15. So,
wow.
To me, it's worth the risk. Do I think, is it a guarantee that these cards are going to take off? It's not. But at $15 price point,
yeah,
I'm willing to roll the dice on that.
Yeah.
Especially with Prism could help bring some of this stuff mainstream.
Are you buying any of the boxes of the new WNBA stuff, or are you just going after?
I haven't, because I do think that the hobby box prices are pricey for anything. I mean, the WNBA product came out; it's like $320 a box on the website.
Yeah.
Now the singles, like I said, if you get a silver Prism of Sabrina, you're looking, you're paying for your box.
Yeah.
But a lot of the Prisms of all the superstars are actually selling well, because I guess it's going to be passed off as the first Prism card. Like with every other thing, you see anybody who's a good name, Dana Taurasi cards and stuff, anybody who's a good name, their singles are selling for like $10 to $20 just for a raw single of like Dana Taurasi, who's been in the league since 2004. So, I mean, they're selling, and these are completed sales. I wouldn't have expected it. And this wasn't something that I didn't even notice until last night.
Interesting. I might have to look into that. Yeah. I mean, graded card for $15.
And if you think of the all-time female basketball player, a lot of people might not know who she is, but Cheryl Miller, she dominated. I mean, and there was no WNBA when she was done in the Olympics and she was done in college. And the thing, Cheryl Miller, she's the best ever. Unfortunately for her, okay, say for instance, Jordan did everything that he did in college and had no league to go play in. That's Cheryl Miller. She basically did everything that you could do from a female basketball player standpoint: gold medals, college championships, and then there was just no league for her to play in. She's Reggie Miller's sister from the NBA. Yeah. And he used to talk about how she used to kick his butt in basketball all the time. So she would be like, I would say, the grandmother of female basketball, or the godmother of it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she never got to play in a league, although she does have some Olympic team cards, which I bought one of hers today just for the heck of it in a PSA 10. Now, I did pay $50 for it. But you're talking about no pop report on that card. I don't even know how I found one. I found one sitting on ComC, I believe, for $49.99, and I bought it. And I haven't seen any other listings, but it's a 1994 U.S. Olympic card of her. Now, I could be out $50, but who knows? 6 months from now, I could be, 10 times on my money.
Right. That's how it's been going, it seems like. Let's shift over to men's basketball, NBA stuff. What are your thoughts on, are you seeing it as a buying opportunity? I think the last time I talked to you, you were kind of in buy mode. I got a Jamal Murray Optic Hollow PSA 9 rookie today in the mail.
Yeah, I'm buying some stuff. I'm not going crazy because I have some stuff. I have Anthony Davis PSA 10s. I have Kawhi Prisms. So while I do look at this as a window to buy right now, I already have stuff. So I'm shifting gears a little bit. I'm buying up some select product. I have a lot of faith in that product, going years back, to 2015 and on. I know Prism is the nice shiny thing, the nice thing that everybody wants right now. But, eventually people get bored with stuff and they look for the next shiny item. And I think the select product, especially because it has the 3 different tiers of printing, it's hobby only, it's grader friendly. And what I mean by that is quality control is a lot better because it's a hobby only product. So it's not pumped out in retail, print runs and massively produced.
Yeah.
So the quality control is a lot better because they don't want to be selling a bunch of crap to the hobby stores. So I just like the product, even if it's not worth as much right now. It's not as expensive either. And then if you're looking to send it in and get graded, you're more than likely to get a 10 on a select card than you are on a Prism or an Optic. Optic is completely off center this year. It looks like they, took an axe and just chopped the sheets up on some of it. So I've been buying selects. I'm still in on Tyler Hero. Just because I sold all my Tyler Heroes doesn't mean I'm out on Tyler Hero.
You sold them all and then now you're buying them back.
It was the time to sell. He was peaking, and now I'm getting back in at a better price. I was in on Prisms. I'm coming back in on Select. I'm trying to get the premier level of the Select on all the players that I'm buying. I'm looking at Michael Porter Jr. still because if he comes out that's a good team. If he comes out, scores a couple big games, in the first week of opening season, people are going to look and be like, oh, that's what he was doing in the bubble, and his cards are going to go nuts. Tyler Hero, I think he's here to stay. Even though he was one of my favorite rookies from last year, then I just got kind of tired of looking at him. But
yeah, and everybody was talking about him.
Yeah, I mean,
like everybody was high on him, and it's like,
yeah,
that's
a good thing when you're trying to sell him, but a lot of times when you're a fan of somebody, you cheer for somebody because they're the underdog. I liked him because he was the underdog, especially coming out of high school. They said he would never play at Kentucky because he chose Kentucky over Wisconsin. He would ride the bench at Kentucky. He would never make it in the NBA. So I liked that story behind it, that chip on his shoulder, working hard story, kind of a Baker Mayfield type story. But then, once the media gets a hold of you, they turn you into Superman, hence the word hero. But anyway,
right.
And who else? I like Zach LaVine right now. A couple guys that I think that are in the trade talks. I think somebody like Zach LaVine could be moved. I think a Bradley Beal could be moved. So I'm looking at lower end select on the LaVines, and I'm looking at just some, some hoops or some Panini Brilliance on the Bradley Beal stuff.
Sean asks, do you think the market will be unstable because of the world financial markets, because of current events, so they should not spend overpriced money on overpriced stuff right now, I think is what Sean is asking. The one thing that this brings me back to, I think about, I saw an interview with Dr. Beckett, and he was talking about how, when the financial markets hit the skids, meaning like the U.S. stock market struggled in the 80s, that a lot of people ended up pulling their money out and putting money into collectibles, into cards and different antiques and collectibles and different things. So I don't know. I don't know if the stock market starts to sink or if there's, if the economy starts to kind of flutter a little bit. It might not be that cards just go out the window. It might actually be that people come to cards as kind of a release. So we don't know, obviously, but I think that just because a market crashes doesn't mean that collectibles crash. From what you were saying,
wealthy people are always going to look to have their money in assets. It used to be fine art, paintings, things that they can have their money tied up into, other than just being in a bank.
Yeah.
So
you're not getting anything for interest in the bank,
right? And, and there's only so many fine art pieces that somebody can buy. There's only so many out there, so it just goes into the next thing. It landed on cards this year. Do I think, everybody talks, okay, the market's come down. Now we're stable. When the season comes, it's the trend that, it'll go back up because the season's on its way. I think that'll happen. We won't see spikes like we saw this summer, though. If everybody's thinking we're going to see these, 20x on cards and such, I don't believe that's going to happen. I wish it would. I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news. However, I see, an increase, and every year they'll drop and there'll be a floor, then they'll increase. The thing is that the floor never goes all the way back down to the original starting point.
Yeah.
So even if you hold over years, you started here, you spiked up, you came down, but now you're not here, you're here. And you're going to spike up, you're going to come down, but now you're not here, you're here. So over time, that's how you get your slow gains on a lot of long-term holds, because they just never go back to ground zero. And stuff will come and go with the season and with the hype, and it's just all about your windows, buying and selling at the right time.
Chris at Vegas Fine 777. I'm a man of Beal. He's got some real eye of Beal. We have a modern day Shakespeare in the chat. Yam, what's up, man? Collectibles can be a hedge against inflation. Focus on the assets that wealthy individuals and funds would buy. And that's no joke, especially when you think about, whether you like or dislike the fractional share stuff, these companies that are coming out and buying up the real big high-end stuff. I mean, if they widen their buying to where they're buying lower end stuff, where they're buying, and I'm not talking about lower end like $100 cards, but if they're buying like $25,000 cards and not just $2 million cards, that's going to eat up a lot of the inventory because they're getting flush with a lot of investment cash. I mean, we saw what was it, Rally Road, which granted, Rally Road invests in cards. They also invest in fine wines, and they invest in all sorts of different collectibles, classic cars. But one of the co-founders of Reddit with another group, they gave Rally Road $17 million to go spend on collectibles. And that's just one group. I mean, $17 million will buy you buy you some nice cards, So, I mean, if you think about it, if that keeps happening, where the wealthy keep on kind of putting a piece of their money into collectibles, then it's going to be some wild stuff.
Yeah. And that goes to be my thing where I'm collecting iconic figures, pop culture icons, sports icons, because that's what I think these high dollar investors are going to look for. You see it with the record breaking sales on certain players. They're buying players that are icons or that they think are going to be icons. You're not seeing record breaking sales on Tyler Hero, Right. You're seeing sales, but these record breakers are on these legit established guys. It goes all the way back to the Honus Wagner card. But there's only so many Honus Wagner cards. Then there's only so many Michael Jordan rookies. There's only so many. So they're going to look for the next GOAT. There's only so many Tom Brady's, Tiger Woods, Tony Hawk. I mean, all walks of life. It's gotten into tennis. You're seeing $2,500 sales on Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal cards. Now, that's nowhere near the price of these Jordans, but, for a tennis card, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's because they don't want everybody who's ever played on the circuit in tennis. They want the 2 or 3 players that are going to go down as transcending the sport. So that's why I also can see that domino effect going into the female market, because you've seen it with Serena Williams. So who's the best all-time female basketball player to ever play? Okay, let's put our money into that. Okay, let's put our money into this. Like even me, you saw I'm messing around with some music stuff. Now, I love music. I'm a music buff. I love music probably more than I like sports. But I've just been buying stuff that I think is cool. I don't mind if I get stuck with it. But this is my last pickup. This is for me personally. It's big. Won't be able to really tell what it is. But this is a 1975 Pink Floyd sticker from Panini. Panini Pop Stars. It's in a PSA 8. There's only 2 of these in population, and there's none graded higher. So there's 2 8s in population. This is one of them. All the other ones are like graded 5, 6, 4. And this is one of my top 5 all-time favorite bands. So I love this. This is one of my favorite items in my collection now.
That's cool.
Just because it's something you don't see every day. And I just, I'll put this away with my stuff. Someday if it's worth money, it's worth money. If not, I'll get it out and look at it, show it to my grandkids.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Brad is asking you, vintage soccer has been the move lately. That's basically all I've been buying is undervalued. Are you targeting any guys in the early 1900s yet, or are you all in on the Charlton Moore cry-ups?
Let me check this mail here.
Uh-oh.
From Royal Mail from England. This is 2 1958 Cadet Suite Bobby Charlton rookie cards.
Oh, nice.
So top 20 player of all time, probably England's best player ever.
Outside of Harry Kane.
Oh, yeah, Harry Kane's a beast. But, yeah, these are 2 Bobby Charltons. These are going to PSA because they look super good. These in a PSA 8 are selling around $600, and in a PSA 9 are about the $1,300 mark right now. I bought these when I was on vacation, standing in line at Disney World in an auction. I was bidding. But they cost me about 103 pounds, or whatever that is in English money. It was like $120 each, actually. So, yeah, each, but they look really good. So that's 2 Bobby Charltons. And so he's asking about vintage soccer. Here's another one.
Hey, before you go, are the Charltons flipped, inverted on the back, Steve? Brad,
I got it. I got some of each. There's the 19 millimeter inverted, and there's the 28 millimeter. So my lighting's not very good, but as you can see, one of these, the print is upside down, and one of them is right side up. One is 19 millimeter print, and one is 28 millimeter print.
Interesting.
One of them's a little more rare than the other. However, the one that's more rare has more cards in the pop report. So it's like the one that's less rare has less graded copies, it seems like. They both still sell for about the same amount of money. for some reason or another, nobody, it seems like people don't tend to care, at least that I've seen, about the
Yeah, Brad is saying the 59 is the smaller, the 60 is the larger number. Or the 58 is the only inverted. Does that sound right?
well, PSA slabs on both is 1958.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you go on the pop report, it says right in the pop report, it has them both listed. 1958 Cadet Suites. It has them both. Title. It says title 19 millimeter, title 28 millimeter, inverted. So they slab them both as 1958.
What's going on, Ben?
Which, I mean, he could be correct. He could be very correct. That could be very accurate on the years. However, the way PSA does it is they just slab it as the same card, same year, different title. And there's another player from England. He's older, and he's really dirt cheap right now. But if you look him up and listen to all the soccer players talk about him, they say he's like one of the greatest ever. His name's Tom Finney. And he was knighted also. Sir Tom Finney, he was knighted because he was so good at playing. Okay. I just got some old cards of him. This is like I'm not really 100% sure on the dates. This is an old like tobacco card. This is an old like bubblegum card of him. But here's the coolest one. This is a 1951 Turf cigarettes. And this is uncut. So this is the cigarette pack. And he hasn't been cut off of it yet. So he's right here. So, you know, like the Honus Wagner in baseball comes on the tobacco box, has been trimmed off. This one actually, you can find these sometimes cut, but this is the only one I've ever seen that hasn't been cut yet. So, you know, if this kind of stuff takes off, I don't know if I want to cut it or keep it, but it's just neat. I mean, I think I only paid like $5 for it because people aren't looking at this stuff right now. I think I paid a total of $12 for all of these Tom Finney cards, and he's considered to be one of the top 10, no, not top 10 players in the world ever, but top 10 players in England history. And that's really a big market, just England alone. Just the English players alone is a huge market. I've learned that, kind of like the Yankees.
What are some modern basketball cards you've been looking at? I did, and I talked about it a little bit earlier. I did just buy a Jamal Murray 2016 Optic Hollow rookie and a PSA 9 for right at about $200. And that seems to be the going rate for those right now. The 10 is right about $650. And I was saying I almost bought a 10, but I just didn't want to spring for $600. But I think the 10 at $600, I don't think that's an awful price if you're a believer in Jamal Murray. Which I am at this point. I really like Jamal Murray.
I see that, Brad.
What did he say?
He said, grab some Sir Stanley Matthews if you find any cheaper. 1934 Adarath.
And you guys are going deep into
it. There's a BGS 8 in the 1934 Stanley Matthews. Wish my light was there. You go. BGS 8 in the Stanley Matthews that he's talking about right there.
Oh, yeah. You sent me a picture of that one.
Yeah, 1934.
That's awesome. Yeah, one day Steve's going to sell all this stuff and be ruling the world.
I wanted you to ask you about this one because I know your wife is from Italy, and I know that this guy, I don't know if this guy has a good or a bad reputation. Roberto Baggio. I know he was a great player, but he missed the kick in the 1994 World Cup.
Let me ask her, actually.
Give Brazil the win. So it was like.
She's upstairs. I'm going to text her and see if she'll text me back while we're on. Hold on. What's his name? Roberto
Baggio, the divine ponytail. Say the divine ponytail. She'll probably know who you're talking about. Yeah, these vintage soccer cards, because they're just very affordable, and I like them. I think it's a good buy right now. I think, you know, when you look at some players in baseball, you know, 1940s and earlier on some baseball players that are worth money, and they're not like the best players ever, but they're still very highly collectible and worth money. And then you see guys like, you know, Bobby Charlton in England is worth money because he's also one of the best ever just to play, not just in England. But guys like Tom Finney and stuff. I also picked up a Jimmy Greaves, 1958, looks just like the Bobby Charlton, but it's a Jimmy Greaves. It's already in a PSA 8. I got it for $40. I was like, sitting in an auction. I thought I was willing to go for 150 for it, and it settled off at $45. Man, I about fell out of bed. I was like, that was awesome. But I'm waiting for it to come in the mail.
She texted me back. Well, first off, she texted me back with the right spelling of the last name, Baggio, and then she said Roby Goal, Roby Goal. What is that, babe? What is that? I have no idea what she's talking about.
Well, his story is, I mean, he was one of the best players. Like Italy considered him to be like their Messi. I mean, back then he would have been the equivalent. Scored a lot of goals and all that. But in the 1994 World Cup, they went into extra time tied with Brazil, and he missed his kick. He missed his whatever penalty kicker.
That's what she was just yelling at me, that he missed.
And he missed his kick, and Brazil won the World Cup, and that kind of tarnished his legacy. You know, who knows, if he'd have made that kick, people would be talking about him maybe as one of the best to ever play. That's how significant that kick was.
Wow.
He just sailed it over the crossbar.
He's probably just drinking a lot of wine in Tuscany at this point.
Well, he's done a lot. I was reading up on him, and like recently he does a lot with like charity and like different foundations and stuff. So
yeah,
he was always considered to be like a hippie when he played. He had a long ponytail. They called him the Divine Ponytail. So he had a cool nickname and everything. But, you know, this is something real cool that came in the mail today. I've been waiting a long time for it because it's coming from Germany. This is a 1985 smash hits of oh man, the light is terrible. Of Van Halen. They're all like super young, like Eddie Van Halen's right there in the middle, like super young, looks like a teenager. I just picked this up because of personal reasons. He passed away, and I grew up listening to Van Halen because my uncle was only like 9 years older than me. He was like my older brother. He got me into listening to Van Halen, and my uncle passed away last year unexpectedly, just out of nowhere. And so I got this for me. Eddie Van Halen passed away this year, and it kind of hit me a little bit, even though he was like a celebrity that I didn't know. Just brought me back. But yeah, cool. So I got that. This is something that I'll get this slabbed, and this will be mine. I'll just keep this forever also. But you just don't see this stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to grab that A and B, C card of. So he's talking about a card. Brad is, again, about a Charlton card, an A and B, C. Now, I have the Tom Finney card like that, but I don't have the Charlton. It's really expensive. It would be the England soccer card equivalent to the 52 Mantle, probably, because of the photo, who he is, the significance he is to that team, Manchester United, and that country. Yeah. That would be their 52 Mantle, the 58 Charlton A and B, C card. I would love to get one graded, even in a low right now, are going for like $4,000. So, and you can't find them raw. And even with raw stuff, because a lot of overseas people can't get their stuff graded, they buy and sell raw cards as if they were graded, like stickers and stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy. I try to buy Zico stickers and things like that. They want like $300 for like a raw Zico sticker. And I'm like, man, I can't do that because these stickers are too sensitive to be spending $300 raw.
Yeah, absolutely. How much do you have? I mean, with PSA and BGS kind of changing their, their pricing and the turnaround times, how many cards do you have sitting out for grading overall right now?
How many do I have out right now?
Yeah, total.
I actually only have 25 cards out right now.
Oh, okay.
I have about 200. I have about 200 cards.
Turn your Discord down a little bit, Steve. I think the
notifications are on, man. That thing will always be messing me up.
Yeah. Don't worry about it if you can't switch it off, but
let me see. But yeah, what were we talking about? I can't remember now.
The 25 cards.
Oh, graded cards. Yeah, I only have 25 out right now. I had a big order ready to submit right before they changed everything, and I kept procrastinating, so it was my fault. I had it ready like 2 weeks before they changed everything, so I was like, I'll send it out tomorrow. And then next thing you know, they changed everything, and I was like, damn, I wish I would have sent it last week when I was going to send it. But I have a Charizard in that order, so I can't wait to get it back.
Is it a really rare one, or is it?
No, it's just the base unlimited, but it's never been touched or played with. Like the story of how I got it is kind of evil, but because I don't never buy or collect Pokemon cards, really, I just had the LCS a long time ago when it was still open. There's no LCS near me anymore. Years ago, there was an LCS, and I would just go in there, buy, sell, trade, sports. And there was a kid that would come in there every day and buy the Pokemon cards up. He would buy them all up. His grandmom had a whole lot of money. She would always come in, buy them all for him. He was a little spoiled kid. And he would run his mouth to me and my friend, who was the owner of the LCS, just talk trash to us. And I mean, he was a little kid, but just talk trash to us. And, he would come in and we would be like, God, he's here. This kid gets on our nerves, and he would talk trash, buy up all the Pokemon and leave like every day. It was just a repetitive thing. So one day he came in, he bought up all the Pokemon, except he didn't have enough money to buy the last pack. And he was like, oh, just let me have the pack. I'll buy, I'll come back with the money. And we were like, no, because, karma, no. We were like, no, you run your mouth all the time because, well, I'm going to get my grandmom and she'll come buy it. And I was like, you know what? And my friend's name was John. I was like, John, I want to buy that pack. He was like, you want this pack? I was like, yeah, give me that pack. And I looked right at the kid and I said, guess what? There's going to be a Charizard Hollow in here. I was just talking trash. And I opened it up and Charizard Hollow was sitting right there on top.
Wow.
And he cried. He started crying. He ran outside. He got on his bike. He went off. And that's how I got it. I mean, it sounds kind of evil, but he had it coming to him.
He's never been the same since.
I hope. Well, I mean,
so Jason Carver is asking, what do you think of modern basketball stickers? And I honestly don't have any modern basketball stickers at all. I didn't even know that was a thing. Have you heard of that? Have you heard?
So you mean like the stickers that they're just putting out, like the Panini stickers, like these that you could just buy the packs of stickers. Like I give away some in a break.
Yeah, so, I think you sent me. Yeah, you sent me one of those. I think when we did that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I have some right here. If that's the ones like he's talking about, like the Panini for they put the sticker book out. You buy the stickers just like they do with they've been doing for years in soccer and stuff.
He's out there somewhere, Steve, like Jason Voorhees out there.
Look, I'll tell you a story. You're gonna think I'm making this up. I'll make it real quick.
Who's that weird guy?
I work in a casino. I work in a casino. Okay, I'm a shift manager in a table games department at a casino. So one night, this person was playing roulette. This dude is playing roulette. And I'm like, I know this guy. I was looking at him, and I was like, I know this guy, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And so I go over to the system because, we rate our players just to read his name. And it said his first name. And I was like, oh, my God, that's the kid from like 25 years ago from the LCS with the Pokemon. But he didn't remember who I was. But I knew exactly who he was because I'll never forget the look in his eyes when he looked at me when I had that Charizard. And I saw him. He was grown up and stuff.
Wow.
Gambling his money away on roulette.
Did you, so you just didn't say anything? Like,
no, he wouldn't have known who I was. I mean, I was probably, my daughter wasn't even born yet. So I was probably like 20, 21 when this happened. Oh, and so it's like 20 years later.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So that's
I know who he was because I was older, but him being somebody small wouldn't have known who I was.
Yeah.
Plus I had hair back then too.
That's what they were talking about with the basketball stickers, those Panini stickers that you have. Are those worth a lot? Like, are those, highly collectible? I just don't know enough about them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kind of anything with Zion's face on it was collectible. I remember in 1992, the Panini stickers were popular because anything with Shaq on it was popular. Kind of the same. I think the players drive the product. Now, I don't think the stickers will be as popular as long as there's cards and there's stickers of the same year. The cards will always be more popular, I believe. It's even like that in soccer.
Yeah.
They're still putting out soccer stickers, but they're also putting out cards with the stickers now because Panini has, got the market. So the cards are just being bought, sold, traded more than the stickers. The only soccer stickers that are worth more is when you got to go back when they didn't have cards of players.
Yeah. I
The
got
older players. Ronaldinho. This
Nice.
just came in the mail.
Let me say too, for those that are watching that have not seen Flipping Steve before, he has his own YouTube channel and he does a lot of really funny mail days. He always has really funny intros to his videos.
That's the hardest part about my videos is coming up with the intro now. I got to try to.
That's the intro.
I wish I'd have never started that.
That's everything. Yeah. So if you have not checked out his channel, go. It's Flipping Steve. It's a sports card channel and it's awesome. So definitely check his stuff out. Subscribe if you have a few minutes. So I wanted to put that out there. We're probably
getting close to 1,500 subscribers. I'm only a couple away.
That's right. And Steve does a lot of giveaways. Steve does a lot of giveaways on his channel.
Yeah, like 2 videos ago, my sales recap. All you got to do is go comment on that video, and you'll be entered to win this Mosaic hanger box. So if you like Mosaic football and you want a chance to win a free box, just go back there and leave a comment on my sales recap. My most recent video was on something else. Oh, SGC reveal, but it's the video before that one.
Nice. All right, so we're coming up to an hour or 11. So I'm going to go ahead, take a few more questions. We'll probably wrap up here soon. I've got to actually normally I do my lives at 9 p.m. And so doing one at 5, I have to get ready for dinner and all that. But we'll take a few more questions here. Thoughts on other grading alternatives to PSA? I feel like there's a real opportunity for SGC, BGS, and even GMA. And I feel like this is kind of an ongoing discussion. And really what a lot of the main kind of drawback to the others outside of PSA is just resale value for the most part, because it's not like really any company is fast getting your stuff back to you. I mean, GMA, I guess, is quick, but I don't know what the turnaround time is. It probably depends on the card, the set, I know the price is inexpensive and the turnaround time is much better, much faster than PSA and BGS. But, is it worth it though? I don't know. I've never tried to sell GMA cards. Do you have any opinions on that, Steve?
I wish we had better options when it comes to maximizing your profits. Right now, PSA, from a profit standpoint, is head and shoulders above the rest. SGC, man, they had a chance, and I believe the ship sailed on them because they just didn't meet their deadlines on their turnaround times, which was the one thing that they could have done. Because they're reputable. Their grades are legit. They've been around since 1998. They're more trusted for vintage on a lot of cards than PSA, so they already had that, for the reputation going. And, not used much for modern cards, but they were getting used for modern cards when PSA shut down. And, their advertisement was like, we're open, send us your cards, or send us your cards, we're open. Yeah. So everybody did. Everybody flooded them with their cards. And they just couldn't handle their turnaround times. I don't think the president of the company or whatever helped himself. He went on social media talking about how our customer service is the best. We will hit our turnaround times. We'll do this. We will meet the demands. And then they didn't do it. So that didn't look very good. Then he had to come on and apologize. I really wish that SGC would have. I sent a lot of cards to SGC, and I don't really wish that they would have just because of the value, but because of the options. We need more options. As long as the market is still saying PSA is the one to be, then it'll always be PSA. The only people that can change it are the hobbyists, is us.
Yeah.
We're the only ones that can change it. And if we're still buying PSA as if it's the best, PSA will always be the best. They'll always be the most expensive. If people refuse to buy SGC, SGC will always be the lower card in the market. It's the consumer that's dictating this. It's not PSA. It's not SGC. It's the consumers. But, you can't speak to the masses and have everybody change their ways, and like say, 20% of the hobby goes with SGC. The 20% that goes with SGC, unless more people come along, are going to be the ones that lose. So it's a hobby as a whole. It's just got to be like, look, this sucks, man. We need all these grading companies are all just as reputable as the other. You may like the look of SGC or the look of PSA better. But does the look of the case really dictate that much difference in value when the cards are being graded under the same criteria? You know, it is what it is. I know with BGS for stickers, they're way better quality in my opinion, because BGS sleeves everything in a plastic sleeve, and they put it into then they put it into the case. So it's encased inside the case. The sticker sits in there nice and neat, doesn't fall around. I've got graded PSA stickers sliding all around the case. Some of them are hanging down. I got a Zidane sticker in the mail the other day, a PSA 8 on a nice sticker of him, and it's in there cockeyed just because of the way that it's in there.
Yeah, that's interesting.
The quality on the BGS, I think, is better. I'm going to be honest. I think a lot of people go with PSA because I think they grade easier. And, of course, you're going to grade with the company that you think you're going to get a better chance of getting a 10 with.
You think that they might be easier than an SGC or a BGS?
I've submitted to both companies tons and tons and tons of cards over big time spans, not just this year. And I can tell you, it is a lot tougher to get an SGC 10 than it is a PSA 10. On modern, vintage, golden era, whatever you're sending in, it's a lot harder. I was 5 for 5 on Tyler Hero Prism with PSA 10. I was 5 for 5. I sent 3 to SGC. I evaluated him the exact same way. I didn't get a single 10. I got 2 9.5s and a 9.
That's interesting. Yeah, and I mean, I buy graded, sell graded, or buy raw, sell raw. I haven't graded cards yet, so I haven't had that experience yet. But yeah, that's kind of part of my dilemma with it. And now
I have PSA 10s. I have PSA 10s, and I'm surprised that they're 10s. I'm not going to complain. I have a Hoops, 2012 Hoops of Damian Lillard, and it's got the red corners, the red borders, and the bottom right corner is dinged, and it's a PSA 10. I sent the same card to SGC, a different one, and I got a 10 from SGC. However, if you look at the cards in the cases, the one from SGC looks so much better than the actual card. People say buy the card, not the grade, but only the really smart hobbyists do that. The people who are looking to buy and flip quick, they could care less what's inside that case as opposed to the number that's on the case.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Especially, well, yeah, I mean, with the resale value being so drastically different with PSA, it's just all about getting the better PSA grade. If you're if you're just trying to resell for the highest amount, if you're collecting it, you're holding it forever or whatever, that's maybe a different story. But if you're buying and selling cards, then resale value is king for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, and what dictates resale value? The buyers.
Yeah.
And, and if we don't change, the situation won't change. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I'm looking to maximize my money. So I do a lot of buying and selling and submitting with PSA I mean, I'm not sitting here saying I'm gung-ho SGC. I want them to, push up in the market, because if I do, I'll fall behind.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, guys, I have got to wrap up. Unfortunately, I have to cut this one a little bit shorter than I usually do. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in and hanging with me, even though Steve tried to bail on me today.
Oh, man, I wish I'd have been here earlier. I wish we had more time. But
you know what? We'll do another one like we usually do. We'll do another one another few weeks. But, Steve, thanks very much for joining. Stay on. I'm going to go ahead and shut off the stream. But, guys, thank you again for hanging out with us, and we will see you again on the next live stream. Take care.
Later, guys.